Obviously, dothack is an intimidatingly large series with a multimedia focus that makes it difficult to get into. The purpose of this video is to provide a quick and comprehensive guide on how to get into the series. There are three main ways to enjoy dothack that I'll cover here. 1. The economic route, to save as much money and time as possible. 2. The core route, to only cover the main series. And 3. The deep dive, a comprehensive list of all related dothack media. Dothack is divided into 3 seasons, the third of which has remained Japan exclusive since 2010. Following these 3 methods, I'll cover how to get into that as a non-Japanese speaking person. This goes in order of easiness. I'll start with the economic route because it's only one entry, dothack GU Last Recode. Released on PS4 and PC in November of 2017, this is a remastered re-release of the 3 GU games that were on PS2. They feature plenty of quality of life upgrades, 60 frames per second, and a brand new 4th volume. They also come bundled with a terminal disc, an in-universe video journal that summarizes the first 4 games while bridging the gap between them and GU. If you don't have a lot of time or money, then this is by far the easiest way to see if you'll like dothack or not. 2. The core route. This way you'll only cover the main entries to the franchise. We'll start at the beginning. Dothack Sign is the first piece of dothack media released. It takes place in 2009 and follows Tsukasa, a character who can't log out, and people who become involved with him. Sign is available on Crunchyroll to stream and through a Funimation re-release. Only watch this up till episode 26, feel free to watch 27, but do not watch 28 until later. Following Sign is the first 4 PS2 games, Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine, to be played in that order. These games are not cheap to own, but easy to emulate. If you do buy them, be sure to buy a complete version with the dothack liminality OVAs, as these are meant to be watched after completing each entry. If you emulate the games, these should be easy enough to find online, though not officially re-released anywhere else. Once you've completed the games, feel free to watch the last episode of Sign, as it ties them both together in a fun fanservice episode. This is about all you need to know for the first season of dothack. There is also Legend of the Twilight, a Punimoe take on the series that takes place after the games, but it is optional, albeit canon. The manga is the canon version. The second season begins with dothack Roots, which you should watch at least 13 episodes of, but only up to episode 18. Anything after this will spoil parts of GU. Dothack Roots is also available on Crunchyroll to stream and through a Funimation re-release to own. After Roots, move on to GU, which you can either play on PS2 or PS4 or PC. It should be noted that the new 4th volume takes place after the officially unreleased OVA GU Returner, meaning the proper way to enjoy GU is to play volumes 1 through 3, watch GU Returner, and then play the 4th volume. There is also a drama CD called Innocent Call that was released with the Japanese premium edition of dothack GU Last Recode, which I will provide in the description below. That's about it for the core route. You can enjoy these 2 parts of dothack and be satisfied. If you still want more, let's move on to the deep dive. There's quite a few pieces of media surrounding dothack. None of these are particularly necessary, but augment your understanding of the lore of the series, and many of them are not canon. You can enjoy them at any point engaging with the main series, as they won't spoil the plot of the main story. Starting with Season 1, we have dothack AI Buster, a novel that takes place before Sign, explaining the origins of Orca and Balmung, and also provides more lore related to Aura. AI Buster 2 takes place mostly after Sign, so it should not be read until then. Dothack X4th is a manga retelling of the PS2 games that goes down a different path. Dothack Another Birth is a novelization of the PS2 games told from Black Rose's perspective. For Season 2, we have Dothack Cell, which are 2 novels that tell the story of a character named Midori, who comes into contact with an antagonist of Season 2. Dothack Aokor is a 1-volume manga that's a prequel story to GU following Syllabus, Alcade, and Nanase. There's the Terminal Disc, which I mentioned earlier, that connects Season 1 to 2. This was originally bundled with the collector's edition of the 1st volume GU, but is included digitally from the main menu of Last Recode. It unlocks more as you clear each volume, and the order of unlocking is also available on the dothack wiki, so you can follow along on YouTube if you choose to emulate or buy the PS2 originals. Then there are various retellings of GU, starting with dothack GU Plus, which is a manga retelling of GU similar to X4th, that follows an earlier draft of the story and goes deeper into the background lore. Then there is the dothack GU Novels, which is a retelling of GU in novel form, following the original draft of the story but does not adapt itself to work as a video game. There's dothack GU Trilogy, a CG film that greatly truncates the 3 volumes and changes some things into film form. This movie is also available to stream on Crunchyroll and through Funimation's re-release. Most of these novels and manga should be available brand new for fairly cheap at Right Stuff, an online anime goods retailer, or used on Amazon for dirt cheap, though beware of buying recycled library copies if you care about quality. It should be noted that none of the retellings listed here should be considered viable substitutions for the canon media they represent. They diverge or gloss over certain points that are necessary information, and they're more just fun side things for fans. This about covers it for dothack media released in English. What comes next is the turbulent 3rd season, starting with dothack Link. Dothack Link is the first chapter of the 3rd season in the form of a PSP game. It concerns a boy named Tokyo who travels through a simulation of major events in the dothack timeline, presenting the entire series in an abridged format so as to catch people up to speed. This is quite useful if there are certain novels or manga that you can't get your hands on, as Link summarizes absolutely everything through Tokyo experiencing them. It should be noted that Link does not have time travel as people like to assume, and none of these returning characters are their actual selves but rather AI recreations. That is, none of Link alters existing lore. Link was the first major dothack title to not see an English localization, and as such, your go-to website here is dothackTranslate.wordpress.com, which is a translation project that has been mostly helmed by Kaze Trigger, and you'll see this name pop up a lot from here on. It is the main source for English translated dothack content. At the time of this video, dothack Link's fan translation is 98.53% complete. In other words, it is complete. The only thing left is grammatical errors, which you can help by posting them in the link provided below. The translation is fully enough for you to be able to understand the plot of the game, which I should know because I helped translate it. There are instructions on the site for how to patch your copy of the game. You can either emulate or play it physically on a PSP. After Link comes Dothack Quantum, a 3-episode OVA that you can buy from Funimation or stream online. Following Quantum is Dothack Bullet, a web novel that ran from 2012 to 2017. It is also available on Dothack Translate. Then comes the Hybrid Pack, a combination of Dothack the Movie and Dothack Versus, a fighting game. The movie, Beyond the World, is currently unavailable officially in English, but should not be hard to find online. The plot of Dothack Versus is explained in a dothackers.net thread, which will be available in the description. On the same disc is Thanatos Report, chronologically the final Dothack entry. Anything beyond this, like the iPhone games, etc., has not addressed this plot thread. Aside from these major entries, there is various plot information surrounding the third season that was only made available through collector's editions of Link or the premium archive books. Summaries and discussions of this information can be found on the dothackers.net forum links provided in the description as well. There you have it. That is Dothack in its entirety. If there are any other questions you might have, feel free to contact me on Twitter. It should also be noted that if you don't like Dothack GU Last Recode, try the original anime or PS2 games. What I have listed here is merely a suggestion. Most Dothack media is set up to be standalone and can be enjoyed by anyone regardless of how much they know about the series. Because it spread itself across so many different mediums and with so many different entries, there's bound to be at least one you'll identify with. Thanks for watching and have fun.